హరివిల్లు పాడ్కాస్ట్కి పునఃస్వాగతం. ఈ ఎపిసోడ్లో మనం మాట్లాడుకోబోయే అంశం పాత్రికేయ వ్యవస్థ. ఒక సమాజంలో కానీ, ముఖ్యంగా ఒక ప్రజాస్వామ్య దేశంలో పాత్రికేయ వ్యవస్థ పాత్ర ఎంత ముఖ్యమో మనందరికీ తెలుసు. వాస్తవాలు బయటకు తీసుకురావాలన్నా, సమాజంలో జరిగే కుట్రల్ని, కుంభకోణాలని బయట పెట్టాలన్నా, అలాగే వాటికి పాలకుల్ని, ప్రభుత్వాలని జవాబుదారీగా నిలపాలన్నా పాత్రికేయ వ్యవస్థ పాత్ర చాలా ముఖ్యం. కానీ మన దేశంలో అదే ప్రపంచంలో కూడాను మిగతా వ్యవస్థలు ఎలా అయితే నానాటికి దిగజారుతున్నాయో, పాత్రికేయ వ్యవస్థలోని విలువలు కూడా అలాగే దిగజారుతూ వస్తున్నాయనేది వాస్తవం. ప్రస్తుత పరిస్థితుల్లో మనం మీడియాలో చూస్తున్న వార్తల్లో వాస్తవాలు ఎన్ని ఉంటున్నాయో, అలాగే మీడియా వాళ్ళు ప్రభుత్వాలని, రాజకీయ పార్టీలని జవాబుదారీగా నిగదీస్తున్నారా లేదా వారికి తొత్తులుగా మారుతున్నారా అనేది కూడాను మనందరికీ తెలుసు. సో ఇక ఈ అంశంపై మనతో మాట్లాడటానికి ఇవాల్టి నా అతిథి తేజస్విని పగడాల. తేజస్విని గారు కెరియర్ జర్నలిస్ట్. 2014 సంవత్సరం నుంచి 17 సంవత్సరం దాకా ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ ప్రభుత్వానికి మీడియా సలహాదారుగా కూడా తను పనిచేశారు. అలాగే తను 2 పుస్తకాలు రాశారు. అందులో ఒకటి చంద్రబాబు నాయుడు గారి పొలిటికల్ బయోగ్రఫీ, ఇండియాస్ గ్లోబల్ లీడర్. సో ఇక తేజస్విని గారితో మన సంభాషణ మొదలు పెడదాం.
తేజస్విని గారు, మొదట మీ స్వపరిచయంతో మొదలు పెడదాం.
So basically I am an author and a communications consultant, and నేను ఏం చేస్తాను అంటే I work with political parties, with the media, with governments and think tanks. Part of my job is also politically analyzing subjects from the Telugu states, which is my personal interest. So the background of all this is I am a journalist by profession. So that's what I do. That's what I studied. But after working with AP Chief Minister's office, I understood that my interest lies not in journalism, but at the intersection of politics, media, and government. So that's where I am working at currently.
So మీ అకాడమిక్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ ఏంటి?
So I studied my BA Mass Communication from Loyola Academy, Hyderabad. And followed by that, I did my PG Diploma in Print Journalism from Bangalore.
ఓకే, సో ఇప్పుడు అసలు టాపిక్లోకి వెళ్ళిపోదాం. ఈ టాపిక్ నేను అనుకోవటం, అందుకని మిమ్మల్ని ఎంచుకోవడం కూడా ఎందుకంటే ఈ విషయం గురించి, ఈ టాపిక్ గురించి డిస్కస్ చేయడానికి నాకు ఈ చాలా కాలంగా అనిపిస్తుంది ఏంటంటే, మీడియా మీద, అంటే వెన్ ఐ సే మీడియా, ఐఎమ్ ఇంక్లూడింగ్ మెయిన్ స్ట్రీమ్ మీడియా, సోషల్ మీడియా, ఎలక్ట్రానిక్ మీడియా, మీడియా మీద కోపము, జాలి 2 కలుగుతున్నాయి నాకు. ఎందుకంటే అంటే వీళ్ళు పెర్పెట్రేటర్సా, విక్టిమ్సా, లేకపోతే టూల్స్ అనేది కూడాను, అంటే లేకపోతే అన్ని మీడియా అనేది ఎలా, అంటే మన సమాజంలో రకరకాల దిగజారుడు పనులు ఏదైతే జరుగుతున్నాయో వాటిలో మీడియా విక్టిమా, పెర్పెట్రేటరా, టూల్ అనేది కూడా అనిపిస్తుంది. అందువల్ల కోపము, జాలి 2 కలుగుతున్నాయి అన్నమాట. నా ఉద్దేశంలో అట్లీస్ట్ టిల్ 80s మీడియా అంటే సమాజంలో చాలా గౌరవం ఉండేది. మొదటి నుంచి కూడా మీడియా ఇస్, ప్రెస్ ఇస్ సీన్ యాజ్ అ ఫోర్త్ ఎస్టేట్, అండ్ ప్రెస్ ఇస్ సీన్ యాజ్ ఫోరం ఫర్ ఫ్రీడమ్ ఆఫ్ ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్ అండ్ ఆల్సో టు call out whoever is doing wrong, especially in public places అనేది. గతంలో గురించి ఆలోచించుకుంటే కనుక అప్పుడు ఆయన అరుణ్ శౌరి గాని, రాజీవ్ గాంధీ టైంలో తను చేసినవి ఇన్వెస్టిగేటివ్ జర్నలిజం, అంత హై పెడెస్టల్ నుంచి ఓవర్ ద లాస్ట్ 2-3 decades అది ఎలా తయారైందంటే, మీడియా ఈస్ హేటెడ్ బై ద రెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద సొసైటీ, and in that way they are only next to politicians అనిపిస్తుంది నాకు. అట్ ద సేమ్ టైం మనం గత కొన్నేళ్లుగా చూస్తుంటే జర్నలిస్టుల మీద, ముఖ్యంగా మెయిన్ స్ట్రీమ్ జర్నలిస్టుల మీద జరుగుతున్న అన్యాయాలు కూడా, అంటే వాళ్ళని అనవసరంగా అరెస్టులు చేయటం, ఇదంతా ఆ రకంగా నలిగిపోతున్నారు. ఇదంతా చూస్తుంటే నాకు ఈ చేంజ్ అనేది అసలు ఎప్పటి నుంచి మొదలైంది అనేది, అంటే మీకు కొంచెం ఈ హిస్టరీ దీని మీద అవగాహన ఉంటే కనుక చెప్తారేమో. 80s నుంచి వాట్ వాజ్ ద ఇన్ఫ్లెక్షన్ పాయింట్ అనేది.
Okay, are you referring to the Telugu states only, or do you want me to give a context across?
In general.
Okay, so
across India and even across globe also. Yeah.
Right. So if you see, మీరు 80s అని అడిగారు కాబట్టి 80s was also the birth of regional parties across India, if you look at the political climate. So that also brought a lot of regional sentiments into the political space in the country, which meant someone like NTR and the South especially being a huge highlight. Again, leaders like Mayawati, Mamata Banerjee, all of these again coming into picture. So this in a way has brought out regional sentiments, and the fact that the Congress had suppressed a lot of other parties itself was, I think, if I have to call it, the inflection point maybe. So Dani Dwara, see, when the Congress was there, if you see its suppression was so ridiculous, and to an extent where there was only revolt as an answer. So even if you see the media control, then it was the same. And after that, with the advent of the regional parties, there was also the advent of television media that started growing in the country, broadcasting especially. So if you see the early 90s, that's when slowly we can take our own example, Telugu states example of ETV, Eenadu, and the entire campaign that Ramoji Rao drove for the TDP and NTR then. So that kind of entry of media into politics, and how politicians used media as a message and as a medium to propagate those messages, I think that was the beginning of how media was getting used as a tool for political propaganda. And at that point, it felt right for Andhra Pradesh, because the political scenario also was very different compared to what it is now. And obviously TDP's strategy of using Telugu pride worked in its favor, given how Congress repeatedly changed chief ministers in the state and all of that. So I think that was one point which brought the change. The next was the internet era, following the broadcasts propagation, and then the populism, I can call, of media, which was just too much for the broadcast media to handle. And I think that also is one of the reasons why today there is a lot of negative sentiment against media, because of the proliferation of media. If you see, మన తెలుగు స్టేట్స్ లోనే ఐ థింక్ వీఆర్ ద హైయెస్ట్ ఇన్ ద కంట్రీ టు హ్యావ్ బ్రాడ్కాస్ట్ ఛానల్స్, ది ఓన్లీ స్టేట్ ఐ థింక్ ఇన్ ద కంట్రీ టు హ్యావ్ దాట్ మెనీ మీడియా అవుట్లెట్స్ అపార్ట్ ఫ్రమ్ ద నేషనల్ మీడియా దట్ ఎగ్జిస్ట్స్. సో ఐ థింక్ it has a lot to do with also the changing global scenario with respect to technology and stuff. That is one point. The second is the changing political climate of the country. So when the entire technological advent happened with respect to the internet and social media propagation and all of that, that was also the time when if you see politically, that was also the time when Congress was deep in scams and BJP was pitching itself as the alternative in the country, the 2012 to 14 period. If I have to put it exactly, then I think it will be 2010. That's where the digital media proliferation started in the country. I think that was very well used by the political parties, especially the BJP then. And I think from what it is now, I think the BJP has shown very clearly how to make the most of any and every medium possible, from propaganda to fake news to, hate speech to extreme strategies they resort to. So I think it is also that, plus there is another side to it, the investor angle. Today, freedom of expression or freedom of press is hardly existing in the country if we look at the current scenario. And one of the reasons why it happened or it is happening is because most of the investors investing in media outlets are either businessmen affiliated to political parties or directly politicians investing in these media houses. And we clearly know, like when we name a few channels, we exactly know which affiliation a certain channel has, whether it's in the Telugu states or the national media or across the country. So every state has its own different parties and their affiliations. So that's one thing that's very challenging for media's existence today. So, and there is hardly any independent media too. So because of a lack of funds maybe, or it could be because of suppression of voices and a lot of vengeful politics that is happening. So there is an environment of, okay, what if I post and I get arrested, sort of, fear among people. So issues are actually dominating the current media space and creating a sort of mistrust among people is what I see. And that's why there is so much negative sentiment against the media.
కొంచెం దీన్ని ఇన్డెప్త్ అనలైజ్ చేయాలంటే ఆ సెగ్మెంటేషన్ చేసి అనలైజ్ చేస్తే కూడా ఇంకా మంచిదేమో యాక్చువల్గా మెయిన్ స్ట్రీమ్ మీడియా వర్సెస్ ఐ మీన్ వీజావి సోషల్ మీడియా ఆర్ ఎలక్ట్రానిక్ మీడియా అనేది. ఎందుకంటే దేర్ మోటివ్స్ అండ్ ద ఇన్సెంటివ్స్ దే హ్యావ్ ఇస్ డిఫరెంట్ కదా. ఎందుకంటే మెయిన్ స్ట్రీమ్ మీడియాలో ఆపరేటింగ్ కాస్ట్ ఎక్కువ, అది రీడర్స్ తగ్గిపోతున్నారు, రెవెన్యూ స్ట్రీమ్స్ తగ్గిపోతున్నాయి. ముఖ్యంగా ఈ పాండమిక్ టైంలో ఆబ్వియస్ గా అది బాగా ఎక్కువైంది, కానీ అంత ముందు కూడా. సో దే నీడ్ టు డిపెండ్ ఆన్ బేసికలీ ద రూలింగ్ పార్టీ ఫర్ గెటింగ్ దోస్ యాడ్స్ అండ్ ఆల్ దట్ స్టఫ్, రైట్? అయినప్పటికీ ఎంతో కొంత ఇప్పటికీ మెయిన్ స్ట్రీమ్ మీడియాగానే కొంచెం ఎంతో అంటే కొంచెం ఎథికల్ ఫ్రేమ్ వర్క్ కానీ జర్నలిజం స్టాండర్డ్స్ కానీ కట్టుబడి ఉంటుందని నాకు అనిపిస్తుంది. But when it comes to electronic media or social media, the operating costs are not so high as per my understanding. And it is in those segments the politicians have really directly got involved and invested, and they are using them like really their mouthpieces kada. So andukani na uddeshamlo ఈ 2 or 3 డిఫరెంట్ సెగ్మెంట్స్ ని సెపరేట్ గా డిస్కస్ చేయడం కానీ డీల్ చేయడం కానీ చేయాలి. సో ఈ మెయిన్ స్ట్రీమ్ మీడియాకి అయితే కనుక అంటే ప్రింట్ మీడియా ఇట్ కెన్ ఓన్లీ గెట్ వర్స్ ఫ్రమ్ హియర్ అనిపిస్తుంది నాకు వాళ్ళకి ఇన్ టర్మ్స్ ఆఫ్ దేర్ వయబిలిటీ అనేది. వాట్ ఆర్ యువర్ వ్యూస్?
సో ప్రింట్ ఆఫ్ కోర్స్ అంటే ఇండియాలో ఈవెన్ నౌ పీపుల్ look forward to their daily newspapers gavati, that way it's still an advantage currently, but I cannot say that will be the same case say 3 or 4 years down the line, because now people do not need to wait for the next morning to have their news. And given the entire smartphone usage and our involvement in consumption of technology and gadgets and all of this, I don't think we'll really have to wait for that long. That is one thing. Second thing is, ipudu print wise also, like partly print journalism is something that is still good journalism in some way or the other, even today. But I think like you just said about the falling revenues that they have and a dwindling readership which they currently are experiencing, and a lot of young population does not read newspapers or does not prefer newspapers. Whereas if you see the segment, like I am an exception, I can say.
Form reading.
Yes. Yeah.
Long form reading
Yes.
తగ్గిపోయింది
Yeah.
బాగా. అందరికి జనాలకి బైట్ సైజ్ మాత్రమే కావాలి.
Right. So that's why you have apps gani, news apps gani, all these, because you want news very brief ga, and you just want to know from the headline what it is. So I think that need for, you know, shortening news for you, or knowing quickly within like 10 seconds what happened anedi, that demand, plus impatience of the young people to, and there is also a lot of background to this, like there is a falling reading culture also. Probably people will read one paragraph and then leave it after that. There's not much reading culture in our country, if we see. So adokati. And the third thing is, I also feel now even the newspapers, I mean the managements have realized that okay, people probably can have a Hindu app rather than, you know, the Hindu newspaper which they want to pay for, and hence they've introduced subscription based reading online itself. So I think online is inevitable, but each newspaper has its own editorial, and they are still trying to keep that culture within the you know, newspaper or these media houses alive, through which they discuss key issues. Not much of this discussion happens online, because a lot of it gets clouded by viral content or you know, propaganda basically. So I think yeah, so when it comes to print, obviously it is inevitable that it may fade out eventually, but in India chances are we may at least see it for say the next 3-4 years.
సో దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ ఈస్ డిస్కన్సర్టింగ్ మీ. ఏంటంటే ఇక ముందు ముందు కేవలం ఎలక్ట్రానిక్ డిజిటల్ కంటెంట్ మాత్రమే ఉంటుంది అనేది మీడియా. సో హౌ దిస్ డిజిటల్ మీడియా ప్లేడ్ ఇట్స్ రోల్ ఇన్ షేపింగ్ పబ్లిక్ ఒపీనియన్, especially at the time of elections or leading to the elections.
Yeah, so digital media ante I'll give a bit of context in my own career and how I saw it growing compared, I mean vis-a-vis my career. So in 2011 I started my journalism career. So that's when I remember there were like hardly 5 to 6 websites which would actually pay for writing online news. So, and I remember that print was the thing then, and if you were part of a newspaper or, you know, any of these big media houses and big names, it was a big thing. But over time, like say I think around 2013-14, it was a different ball game altogether, because a lot of these media jobs, especially in newspaper industry and television channels, they started skimming their staff because of lack of revenues and, you know, ad revenues and all of those. So, and at the same time, social media's proliferation itself was a huge push for people, because they suddenly had multiple options to get news or any sort of information they wanted. So if I have to give you an example, ఇప్పుడు మన ఆంధ్ర తెలంగాణ bifurcation తీసుకుంటే, that was also the time when this digital media was I mean it played a huge role in the entire propaganda gani, entire messaging through political parties kani, other sources also, because it was a very sentiment driven movement, Telangana movement, followed by the entire bifurcation issue. It was easy because it was digital media, so it was directly reaching an individual either through your WhatsApp or through social media or through any other direct platform they were consuming news or any information from. So our time lo it was very important, and even political parties and in that time played a major role in propagating messages that hit directly the sentiment of people. if you see a lot of information that goes and that people consume is more or less reflective of their own individual characteristics and the culture they come from. అంటే వాళ్ళకున్న ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్సెస్ కానీ, వాళ్ళకున్న బయాసెస్ కానీ, వాళ్ళకున్న థాట్ ప్రాసెస్ కానీ. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, ఇఫ్ సపోజ్ ఐఎమ్ రీడింగ్ సంథింగ్ ఫ్రమ్ Sakshi, suppose I'm just reading something from there, and I know what is written about, what will be written about in the Sakshi newspaper, or say even on their website. If I have to read the same story in, say, ABN Andhra Jyoti or some other media outlet or Enadu or any other website like Gulte or anything, I'm just talking about the Telugu states kabatti, it will be a completely opposite viewpoint. So me as a person, I have seen Sakshi, I've seen Andhra Jyoti, I've seen Enadu now, but I still have my own preference politically, maybe, or because of my own influence. So I know which one I don't like. So whichever I don't like, I'm defensive about it. For example, let's just take the whole thing about Sakshi propagating fake news. When I see it, I know it. So obviously I'm being defensive in that case, but I still know that it is fake news and I will not accept it. But there is also an audience that accepts Sakshi as the main source of news. So it is very dependent on an individual's thought process, their influences, the background which they come from. So all of this also plays a major role. So there are multiple factors kabatti.
Yeah, so మీరు చెప్పినట్టే కన్ఫర్మేషన్ బయాస్.
Yes, yeah, totally.
మనకి ఏ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ వ్యూ ఉంటుందో అదే పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ వ్యూ ప్రాపగేట్ చేసే ఛానల్ స్కేల్ చూస్తూ ఉంటాం.
Totally, yeah. But there is a different thing happening via social media. Social media through IA propaganda gani, social media via jarige information gani, manakoche whatever, in whichever format we receive it, it's very different because a lot of it can be fake. And one of the reasons why we are unable to differentiate it is because it is starting from political parties itself, the whole fake news creation. So it's become very difficult to regulate or differentiate and understand what is right and what is wrong. I think it's also because we are so much in a hurry to know what is happening that we don't try to find what is right, but what comes first, what is given to us first.
జనరల్ పబ్లిక్ తెలియని విషయాలు మీరు అబ్జర్వ్ చేస్తున్న ట్రెండ్స్ ఏమన్నా ఉంటే చూస్తారా? అంటే బిఫోర్ వి గో ఆన్ టు యాక్చువల్లీ టాక్ అబౌట్ దేర్ ఆర్ ఎట్ ఆల్ ఎనీ సొల్యూషన్స్ టు దిస్ ఇష్యూ ఆర్ వాట్ ఎవర్, బట్ ఇఫ్ యూ ఫీల్ there are certain things which every common man knows,
Right.
but are you noticing any trends which may not be so widely known by people? Ajotara.
So I'll tell you this from the political context itself, because politics, media are interlinked ikkada. When it comes to the political space, ippudu manaki, I'll give you an example of the BJP itself, because we are seeing it day in and day out. So if you take Andhra Pradesh as the state, we see the temple attacks issue being brought up on and off again and again. But if you go through the history of Andhra Pradesh, we've hardly had any sort of religious discrimination gani, disturbances gani, whatever. Not really many in terms of religious crimes that have happened. But there is again caste as a factor which plays a major role in AP. But ee temple attacks issues vachin దగ్గర నుంచి, one, okay, there is let's just try to understand this. First, there's a temple attack. Then one day later, most of it is happening in the night, and one day later suddenly someone realizes, some local in the village or something, and it's reported to the police. Even in the big temples this is happening. Third day, the same day the police comes, they are giving reasons for the attacks. instead of finding it. Fourth, the process is that YSRCP reacts to it, TDP reacts to it, BJP reacts to it. Then after this, what is happening is, first thing we need to question is, where are the CCTV cameras? Okay, small temples we can ignore, but bigger temples, older temples which have history, like Ramatirtham for example, where are the CCTV cameras? Second, how is religion being brought into this? Why are we not trying to find the people who did it, rather than sitting and trying to look at this as an attack on, politics, or the political parties playing their own game around it? Third, in all of this, BJP will come and say, I am doing a protest today. And then the entire issue gets diverted from there. Instead of trying to follow up on what happened, why did it happen, who did it, it is going to who is more Hindu, which party supports more Hindus, which party is protecting Hinduism. So the entire narrative around the story is going into religion and religion-based agendas. So that, you see, it's a very clever tactic of the BJP for which other political parties are falling prey. For example, YSRCP is already taking the heat for conversions in the state. And given that Jagan and his background is seen as a Christian community-led one, it is very easy for people to bring up the whole issue against him. So now, if you look at, say, BJP versus YSRCP versus TDP, I'm not talking about Janasena because it is a very confused party. So I will leave that out here. But if you see these three parties, the one that is most at loss is TDP here, because it is a neutral party. It has been neutral, except for one or two incidences where they have voiced out concerns earlier in its history, in its journey. It has normally been neutral towards every religion. But in this case, it is forced to take a stand and pronounce its stand on one single community or in support of that one single religion. So YSRCP knows its game very well. BJP knows its game very well. What is happening is that TDP is falling into this trap. And then eventually they close the entire matter from the case to the religion to, the conclusion is TDP has done this. And it becomes a blame game after that. So the entire issue gets sidetracked. Ultimately, no one knows who did what to that temple and why a temple is being destroyed in the first place, and what is the motive of anyone doing it. If there is any, nexus between the people doing it or the government and other parties involved doing it. So what it is anedi evariki ardham kavatledu, and this is how you're very carefully manipulating the entire public discussion and discourse to a very different level. People have forgotten the issue already here. So you don't have to do much to even talk about temple attacks. So this is something I see over and over, not just in Andhra Pradesh, but in every state where the BJP is trying to, gain its ground. Like even Tamil Nadu, if you see, even Telangana for that matter. During the GHMC elections, there was a lot of religious propaganda happening against Muslims, and they were pitting Hindus and Muslims against each other. So these are very clever tactics that BJP chooses to inject into you. So ultimate wala message enti ante chala simple. Nenu and my party, me and my party, we are protecting Hinduism. They will inject this message into you through either a WhatsApp forward or through a meme or something which says these many temples in India have seen destruction because of Muslims. And now Andhra Pradesh is seeing the same problem. And you know who the CM of Andhra Pradesh is and what his religious affiliation is. So the other parties are actually supporting the CM indirectly. We are the only ones who are here to save Hinduism, and hence you should choose us. It is not telling you directly, but it will do this through these messages and trying to make you feel like your own religion is under threat. So you see, it's changing of psyche of a human being. So it goes to a very minute psychological level.
సో మీరు చెబుతుంటే నాకేమనిపించిందంటే ఈ గ్రోయింగ్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ ఆఫ్ సోషల్ మీడియా హ్యాస్ యాక్చువల్లీ టేకెన్ దిస్ టు ఏ కంప్లీట్లీ డిఫరెంట్ లెవెల్.
Correct.
And in fact, even electronic media is trying to play catch up with social media, right?
Correct.
Because
yeah, totally.
electronic media గానీ ఎంతో కొంత రెగ్యులేటరీ మెకానిజం అంటే మరీ ఎక్కువ కంట్రోల్ చేయకూడదు కూడా ప్రెస్ ని, కాకపోతే ఎంతో కొంత వాళ్ళ సెల్ఫ్ రెగ్యులేషన్ అయినా ఉంది వాళ్ళకి. సోషల్ మీడియాకి అయితే అది కూడా లేదు. సో దీని ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ పెరుగుతుంది కాబట్టి దే ఆర్ యాక్చువల్లీ ట్రైంగ్ టు, అంటే హౌ TDP is trying to now probably unwittingly trying to follow BJP's methodology. Electronic media is trying to follow social media's trends anamata. Aa type lo to draw an analogy. So going back to your 2014 to 2018 days when you worked with the government. So appudu what is the mandate for you? How is the mandate to your team is different from, say, TDP's social media cell?
Right. So I worked with the government and the Chief Minister's office. I had nothing to do with the party. And party would not involve in the government in any way, at least till what I was doing and my own work. So there was, so what I was doing was entirely government related, CM office related, and government affairs, meetings, speeches, all of that. And anything to do with the party only came when, say for example, it was a joint event or something to do with party members or some sort of a training program or something, again in which we were not so involved. So where I got involved in terms of party was only when I was personally writing for the Chief Minister for his social media. So I had to tweet as Chandrababu Naidu. So for that, I'll have to think both as a party president as well as the Chief Minister. So that was my only involvement in terms of, political influence, whatever. But given that you are in that setup, and there is a party through which the government comes into picture, I got to see the inner workings of the party with the government and how it works within a government setup lo ela politically, how they have to align and not let their own opinions rule things, because eventually you're accountable. So that was my work.
మీరు చూస్తే కనుక one of the main reasons for YCP coming into power in 2019 is how they could portray, how they could change the perceptions of the people and how they could portray Chandrababu Naidu government.
Right.
Not Chandrababu Naidu's party. I mean, not alone Chandrababu Naidu's party, but Chandrababu Naidu's government as doing things which are not as per the expectation or aspirations of the people అనేది. మరి అలాంటప్పుడు అలాంటి వాళ్ళ ప్రాపగాండా which is directly aimed at the government.
Right. Yeah.
మరి దాన్ని కౌంటర్ చేయడానికి మీ టీమ్ కి ఏమి రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీ లేదా?
So I'll tell you, 2017 varke I worked, to be honest. 18 nunchi I wasn't part of the team or the government because my book and all, I got busy with that. But part of my job was also predicting what would become a controversy in terms of putting out messages. So there we tried to avoid. Beyond that, a lot of it is party strategy. So which is where we are not involved in any day or any given time. And to be honest, party strategy wise guda, only a few inner members are the ones who will know it. It's not something that's so openly discussed or given as a duty. And because TDP's cadre strength kani, the way the entire their network works, it's very different kabatti I had no involvement whatsoever in that. But when you talk about
the proper thing, right?
Yes,
that's also right thing, because for all practical purposes you are serving the people of AP, not the party, right? You are getting paid by as consultants by the AP government.
Yes,
represents people of AP. So obviously పార్టీకి చేయకపోవడం అనేది రైట్ థింగ్. అంటే ఇప్పుడు కొంచెం అది మారినట్టు ఉంది వైసీపీ గవర్నమెంట్ వచ్చిన తర్వాత. ఎందుకంటే వైసీపీ సోషల్ మీడియా సెల్ వాళ్ళే అదే ఏంటంది ఇప్పుడు ఆ బౌండరీ ఏదైతే ఉందో గవర్నమెంట్ కి పార్టీకి తేడా, మీడియా కమ్యూనికేషన్స్, ఇప్పుడు ఆ బౌండరీని పూర్తిగా అంటే అక్కడ ఓబులాపురం మైన్స్ ఆ స్టోరీలో గనక మైనింగ్ కాంట్రాక్ట్ ఈ స్టేట్ లో ఇస్తే పక్క స్టేట్ దాకా తవ్వుకుంటూ వెళ్ళిపోయారు కదా, ఆ టైప్ లో అక్కడ బౌండరీ తీసేసినట్టు ఇక్కడ కూడా ఈ బౌండరీ తీసేసినట్టున్నారు.
సో ఇన్ దిస్ కాంటెక్స్ట్ నేను ఒకటి చెప్పాలి. ఇన్ టర్మ్స్ ఆఫ్ how the entire this system works currently. Earlier also this has a lot to do with bifurcation itself. Earlier when Chandrababu Naidu served as the CM of Andhra Pradesh, combined Andhra Pradesh, he was never seen as one community person. అంటే ఆయనకి ఆ బ్లాట్ అనేది అప్పుడు లేదు అంత. And he was seen as someone, okay, he's the CEO, CM. That was only the propaganda against him, and the fact that he used a lot of tech which people didn't understand, and there was a disconnect. All this was the negative thing against him. But after bifurcation, given that caste is a very strong subject within Andhra Pradesh, it was very easy to brand Chandrababu Naidu as belonging to one community, and the community, that community CM money. So that worked very well when YSRCP was doing its propaganda. If you see, if we look at the social communities within Andhra, the Kapus are one community which don't stick to one party for long. If you notice how their patterns of voting are. So that Kapu vote bank is one that decides the election also, more or less. And they have been able to sell that very well to Kapus in the state for 2019 election. One, there was a lot of negative propaganda, there were strategies that they used, all of that is secondary. But the caste factor played a huge role. Also, I think a lot of it has to do with TDP's own lack of understanding of political communication in terms of see, if you did something, you have to talk about it in today's branding and social media age. We cannot expect people to understand something like land pooling or the futuristic concept of Amaravati without explaining it in as simple terms as, I'll tell you that with an example of Hyderabad itself. Hyderabad grew as an IT destination. But what happened? Ante if I am communicating this message to the people, any common man, nenu em cheppali ante nenu Hyderabad ni IT destination chesinanduku financial profiles of families have grown. Today, someone who didn't even think of buying, say, a bike owns a huge car. I'm not saying that is going to feed you, but it has changed the entire demographic of a state or a profile of a certain family. So, and that family, probably this person is the first generation educated guy, and he's got an IT job. And ఆ అబ్బాయికి వచ్చే శాలరీ వల్ల మొత్తం ఫైనాన్షియల్ ప్రొఫైల్ ఆఫ్ ద ఫ్యామిలీ హెస్ చేంజ్. టుడే దే కెన్ గో అబ్రాడ్, దే కెన్ డూ ఎనీథింగ్. So when you're communicating, this is very important, that people connect is very important, which is often missed in whatever TDP does. That's the biggest problem, that TDP's communication gani, any sort of media appearance gani, whatever is the communication messaging strategy, that is where they are falling back when compared to other parties. That's one thing I observed very carefully.
Right. What YCP communication, obviously aided by IPAC. How do you rate
so
that?
YCP is again same BJP strategy. For example, నేను అంటే ఇప్పుడు జరిగేదే, I'll give you an example. మనము for example we give or we criticize Jagan government for doing something అనుకోండి. It can be delay in panchayat polls. It can be probably his initial lackadaisical approach towards COVID, where he said it's just a fever and all of that. Such things, when opposition parties are hitting back, what YSRCP is doing is it will deploy one person, which is Nani. Okay? And when Nani speaks in front of media, he is abusing, or there is some sort of unparliamentary language that is used. So eventually the issue is again sidetracked. Focus of the media will be on Nani used these words or Nani used this language, and that is becoming news, not the fact that I am opposing government's lack of concern or government's reckless behavior, or for example lack of investments or opportunities or job creation within state. So a issue anedi completely sidetrack అయిపోయి people get manipulated into this whole controversy building technique. So YSRCP is doing exactly the same thing. కాకపోతే వాళ్ళ కాంటెక్స్ట్ లో ఇట్స్ అ వెరీ దే ఆర్ డూయింగ్ ఇట్ అట్ దేర్ లెవెల్. BJP does it at a different level.
That's right. And controversy and especially something which can stir emotions, అది తొందరగా క్యాచ్ పట్టుకుంటారు కదా జనాలు కూడా. దాని మీద ఎక్కువ మొగ్గు చూపుతారు. అంతేగాని what really matters to people, what should matter to people, అంటే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ రకరకాల వెల్ఫేర్ స్కీమ్స్ పేరుతో ఆన్ యావరేజ్ ఫర్ ఎవ్రీ హౌస్ హోల్డ్ ఇస్ సే గెటింగ్ 9,000 rupees per month. Okay, every household. I'm just throwing up some numbers. But at the same time, ఈ taxes పెరగటం వల్ల, పెట్రోల్ సెస్ పెరగటం వల్ల, ఇంకా అవి ఇవి అన్ని కలిపి taxes ఆర్ బస్ ఛార్జీలు కానీ, కరెంట్ ఛార్జీలు కానీ ఇన్ని పెరగటం వల్ల ఓవరాల్ గా అవుట్ గో ఎంత పెరిగింది అనేది పర్ మంత్ ఫర్ ఎవ్రీ హౌస్ హోల్డ్. అంటే 9,000 ఇస్తే 15,000 లాగేసుకుంటున్నారు.
కరెక్ట్.
విషయం ఒకటేమో అంత ఈజీగా అర్థమయ్యేట్టు చెప్పడానికి కూడా ట్రై చేయట్లేదు ప్రతిపక్షాలు. అలాగే చెప్పినా కూడా ఇది విని ఓహో అనుకుని కొంచెం బాధపడతారేమో కానీ ఒక కాంట్రవర్సీకి ఉన్నంత దాని మీద చూపించే ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఇలాంటి వాటి మీద చూపించారు.
కరెక్ట్. అంటే
అదే ఎందుకంటే దిస్ ఇస్ లైక్ ఫ్రాగ్ ఇన్ బాయిలింగ్ వాటర్ సిండ్రోమ్ అన్నమాట.
ట్రూ. దిస్ ఆల్సో డూ విత్ పీపుల్ ఒకటి వాట్ దే వాంట్ అనేది వాళ్ళకి తెలియదు. లైక్ వెన్ యు ఆర్ ఓటింగ్ ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఆర్ చూజింగ్ అ సర్టన్ పొలిటికల్ పార్టీ డ్యూరింగ్ ది ఎలక్షన్, యు ఆర్ సీయింగ్ యువర్ షార్ట్ టర్మ్ గెయిన్ ఆఫ్ నాకు 10,000 ఇస్తారు పర్ పర్సన్ ఆర్ పర్ ఫ్యామిలీ, ఆర్ మాకు ఏసీ ఇస్తున్నారు, మాకు గ్యాస్ స్టవ్ ఇస్తున్నారు, మాకు ఇది ఇస్తున్నారు, అది ఇస్తున్నారు. దాట్ ఈస్ ద హోల్ ఫోకస్. కానీ దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ ఈస్ మ్యానిపులేషన్. అగైన్ సేమ్, ఇట్స్ అ టాక్టిక్. That is what they are trying to push you to. So నువ్వు అట్లీస్ట్ తీసుకున్నందుకన్నా probably one family member from that family may vote to the party that gave you money. AC maybe some other family member will vote. So they are looking at this. Eventually enti ante long term process, long term development, long term future of that state. For example, ipudu ide family which is taking money and AC or whatever it is, వాళ్ళ పిల్లలకి జాబ్స్ కానీ వాళ్ళ పిల్లలకి ఎడ్యుకేషన్ కానీ ఆ యాక్సెస్ అనేది లేకుండా పోతుంది ఇప్పుడు స్టేట్ లో. ఇప్పుడు మంచి ఎడ్యుకేషన్ కావాలి, మంచి ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఉంటేనే మనకి మంచి ఆపర్చునిటీస్ వస్తాయి. అంటే వీల్ అట్లీస్ట్ గ్రో టు దట్ ఎక్స్టెంట్. మంచి ఆపర్చునిటీస్ వస్తే వీల్ గ్రో ప్రొఫెషనలీ కానీ ఫైనాన్షియలీ కానీ ఎవ్రీ అదర్ వే. ఆ థాట్ ప్రాసెస్ అనేది మన జనాలకి ఉండట్లేదు ప్రస్తుతానికి. వాట్ వీ వాంట్ ఫర్ అవర్ స్టేట్ ఆర్ అవర్ ఫ్యూచర్ ఆర్ అవర్ కిడ్స్ అనేది మర్చిపోయి, దిస్ పర్సన్ ఇస్ అ కమ్మ, దిస్ పర్సన్ ఇస్ అ కాపు, దట్స్ వై ఈస్ డూయింగ్ లైక్ దిస్, యు ఆర్ అ హిందూ, యు ఆర్ అ ముస్లిం, యు ఆర్ అ క్రిస్టియన్, you attacked my temple. This is the gola that is happening currently. It's not the gola about education or employment or opportunities or investments. For example, Kia తీసుకోండి. Kia వచ్చినప్పుడు there were so many locals who got jobs. And ఇప్పుడు అలాంటివి ఒక 10 వస్తే imagine the state's profile. State profile అంటే you and I are citizens, which means you and I only will eventually benefit. It may take 5 to 10 years. Obviously, any state, any country will take that much time. But expecting overnight buildings and all of this, the way the propaganda is created, anything takes time. అది మన వాళ్ళకి అర్థం కావట్లేదు. And that access to that kind of education is very important. We are in 2021. If you're not thinking about your future, then no one can help you or your state. Adi each of them should question.
Again, this is where print media or mainstream media, including electronic media, this is where actually media has to play a role, right, in shining light on the topics that should really matter to people.
Correct, yes.
అంతేగాని వాళ్ళు కూడా సోషల్ మీడియా స్థాయికి దిగజారిపోయి, సోషల్ మీడియా జరిగే డిస్కోర్స్ స్థాయికి దిగజారిపోతున్నట్టు ఉంటున్నాయి. అంతేగాని ప్రింట్ మీడియా ఇస్ నైదర్ సెట్టింగ్ ద ఎజెండా నార్ పార్టిసిపేటింగ్ ఇన్ సచ్ పబ్లిక్ డిస్కోర్స్ అనేది. సో దీనికి అంటే మనం ఇంకా లాస్ట్ సెగ్మెంట్ కింద దీనికి సొల్యూషన్ ఏంటి, దీన్ని మనం అలా ఒక సోషల్లీ రెస్పాన్సిబుల్ సిటిజన్ గా, someone who loves obviously our own society, our own country, మనం press is too precious to be left alone like that, right?
Right, yeah.
So అలాంటప్పుడు ఎందుకంటే press is important for the health of democracy and for the freedom of expression and for shining light on topics that really matter to the long term growth of any community, right? So అలాంటప్పుడు మీకేమైనా సొల్యూషన్స్ కానీ ఎవరన్నా ఈ దీని గురించి చేస్తున్న వాళ్ళు కానీ ప్రయత్నిస్తున్న వాళ్ళు ఎవరైనా కనపడుతున్నారా మీకోసం?
సో ఒకటి ఏంటి అంటే we'll first have to look at కొంచెం strong regulation when it comes to the whole fake news, propaganda and stuff. Okay, because when we look at fake news being originating from a political party, it's a very dangerous sign for the country, for a democracy, because you are en masse, you are trying to influence a certain opinion which is not true at all, and dan valla you are going backward as a country, you're not going forward. And we are in a situation where the other countries are progressing. I mean, if you take Southeast Asia itself or South Asia, Bangladesh is doing much better than India on any indicator today. A small country like that. So, and this also has a lot to do with how we need one strong regulation, two probably a regulator or a body that can be stringent with these checks. Probably, it could also penalize those who are, creating fake news kani, this kind of thing, which provokes. Endukante ultimately when you allow this to go to that extent, it can be a threat to our own country. Ante it can cause riots also in future, you never know. It has caused. Ippudu meeru Bangalore lo appudu, I think it was last year during the lockdown, I think, when there was one very mini riot sort of thing that happened. So idanta social media. Same thing is recent Trump incident also. The entire Capitol Hill massacre that happened also, the entire discussion was on social media. So we need some sort of regulation that penalizes people, because a fear undali. A fear lekapothe, I think people will just feel like posting whatever and say whichever things they like saying. And another thing is it also has a lot to do with the kind of political environment we are living in the country right now. Either you have to take the side of one party, or you're branded as something against. సో ఆ న్యూట్రల్ స్పేస్ అనేదే మిస్ అవుతుంది కంప్లీట్ గా ఇప్పుడు మనకి కంట్రీలో. ఎనీ న్యూట్రల్ పర్సన్ ఈస్ బ్రాండెడ్ యాజ్ యాంటీ ద రూలింగ్ పార్టీ, యాంటీ ఆఫ్ ద రూలింగ్ పార్టీ. అండ్ మనకి ఈ హోల్ థింగ్ లో నేను ఒకటి అబ్జర్వ్ చేసింది ఏంటి అంటే, పబ్లిక్ డిస్కోర్స్ లో దేర్ ఈస్ నో మోర్ స్పేస్, కానీ దేర్ ఈస్ నో మోర్ యునో స్పేస్ ఫార్ అ పర్సన్ టు, if you're saying something, I can still agree to disagree. So that is not there. Ivala debates don't happen today. Wars are happening on TV. Media trials are happening. So, and journalists are not journalists anymore. They are hate mongers. They are people who are provoking speakers also, who come on their television channels and stuff. So I think there should be a very strong regulation in terms of fake news and propaganda, and you should, I think, crack a whip on the source of it, not the channels that are doing it, but the source of it. So something to penalize them, that is one thing. And another thing is a fact checking entity, independent fact checking entity is very important for the country if democracy has to thrive in a way we imagine it to be in future. సో మన కంట్రీలో అసలు ఫ్యాక్ట్ చెకింగ్ అనేది జరగదు, మీడియా హౌసెస్ లో కానీ ఎనీవేర్ ఇఫ్ యు సీ. సో వీ నీడ్ దట్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ గేట్ కీపర్ టు కీప్ అ చెక్ ఆన్ వాట్ ఈస్ రైట్ అండ్ వాట్ ఈస్ నాట్. అండ్ because we are seeing the tech giants growing power right now, it also, I think, some sort of self-regulation among people is also so important, because it's tech today is very intrusive. So at least try to consume what makes you happy or what you gain from. For example, news la chudandi, then enduku, why are you consuming it so much that it is affecting your mindset, your family, your personal relationships, everything around you. So I think people regulation of their news consumption gani, information consumption gani, is also very important. Apart from that, I think lastly there is this one thing that I feel is missing in journalism gani, in public discourse gani, social discourse gani. It is the art of listening. No one wants to listen to the other person first. If someone is talking, we want to first react to it, not respond, not think about it and then respond to it. So our reaction anedi, it has led to, I think, like one huge rage sort of syndrome across the world, not just India, across the world. And I think we need to start becoming a little self-aware, self-conscious of how we want to respond also. So I see
అంటారు కదా, one should listen to understand, one should not listen to respond.
Yeah, totally. Ante I see it as reaction versus response. Response is thought about, ante koncham thought process petti, mana thinking betti, what is happening, someone is telling me something, okay, what are they trying to telling, tell me anedi, that is response. But reaction is you want to say something, so you're just making them finish and then immediately you're saying something without even understanding what they're saying. So that's something that is very required today in all segments of society, not just journalism, but journalism even more, because we are conducting open trials on TV.
ఓకే, సో వచ్చే ఎలక్షన్స్ ఇంకొక 2-3 ఏళ్లలో ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి, సో ఆర్ యూ వర్కింగ్ ఆన్ ఎనీథింగ్ రిలేటెడ్ టు దట్?
So I recently worked for a political party in the GHMC elections, but I may work, I don't know, I haven't got any opportunity yet, but I may get, I don't know. I'll be happy to do, because that is something I'm looking forward to. That's a space I really enjoy, analysis and election management and political campaigns. So yeah.
ఒక విషయం అడగలేదు, మీ ఫ్యామిలీలో ఎవరైనా పొలిటీషియన్స్ ఉన్నారా, ముందు తరాల్లో కానీ ఈ తరంలో కానీ?
No connection whatsoever to politics, even ancestral ga kuda. Pure passion for the subject. Yeah.
If somebody tells you, say a friend of yours tells you that you know what, I am also very interested in politics, so I want to take up, quit my job and join politics as a full-time career.
Right.
తనకి మీరు ఏ అడ్వైస్ ఇస్తారు?
See, obviously there is hope, but in politics you have to be shameless. Politics is one field where you have to think of another person's strategy before they think of it. And you have to stoop to a level below them. And you should at least be ready for that. So this is something I have learned very clearly by observing whatever political knowledge I have. And that is what I would say, like people who become politicians, the taste of power is very different and it works differently on different people. So even if my own best friend is joining politics, I will expect zero from that person tomorrow, because power will maybe change that person completely. And he may be my first enemy also tomorrow. And politics is one thing that is like, once you get into it, you don't know who you are and you don't know which direction you'll be put into. So yeah, it's like if you have left out everything that you think is yours, then you're ready to enter politics. Ante everything, ante every single
so
thing.
You are essentially discouraging
No, I'm not discouraging.
Discouraging people from joining politics.
No, I am not discouraging. I am just saying you have to be ready for anything. Like, expect an attack on your family in terms of, probably some sort of a media expose or something like that. So be ready for any negative thing. Prepare your mind for that. So if you get to that level of evolution mentally, then I think you will be unstoppable in politics.
So now I can fully empathize with Pawan Kalyan.
Maybe. No one understands people. Some people, I should say. But see, you can do a lot of good in politics. Obviously, the kind of connections, the kind of network and the direct contact that it gives you, power gives you. Nothing else in the world gives you that. So that way, yes, if you are a good person who wants to, use politics as a great medium for service or whatever good you want to do in planning something for the people and trying to make them realize that it's a great thing that people will always see good work. It's not that they don't see. Thing is, it's not talked about much. So yeah, bad influence is easy, good is difficult, but you will always be remembered for doing good. So I think they should think about that too, but they should be prepared for the worst. Okay.
Right. Yeah, I do feel that at least 50% of the people who enter politics, I feel enter with good intentions, actually.
Yeah, power is,
of course,
no?
there is also the adulation that may be at their back of mind. I'm sure at least 50% of the people join politics to actually to do good, or because they actually feel socially responsible. But అంటే ఈవెన్ సివిల్ సర్వీసెస్ లో కూడా అంతే కదా, ఎక్కువ మంది ప్రజలకు సేవ చేద్దామని జాయిన్ అవుతారు. వాళ్ళు ఇంజనీరింగ్ చదివినా కూడాను, ఎంబీబీఎస్ చేసినా కూడా. కానీ అక్కడికి వెళ్ళిన తర్వాత ఆ సిస్టమ్ లో మనం ఎంతవరకు చేయగలము అనేది అప్పుడు దిగిన తర్వాత
I think, see, it's all about how you try to mold yourself according to the changing situations and circumstances around you. One time it may not favor you, one time it may favor you. When it's not favor you, lie low. You know, you'll have other strategies to follow and keep yourself just alive. When you're in power, it's a very different ball game altogether, because again, that is a different kind of pressure where you have to satisfy multiple interests at a different scale. So I think it's just about balancing that, you know, and all of it has to do with your mental state. If it's very strong, you make your mind a strong weapon, then I think nothing will affect you to an extent where you can you want to quit politics, you know. So
ఓకే, గుడ్ అండి. మనం అనుకోని టాపిక్స్ కూడా అనుకోవాలి.
I'm glad.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.